jetliner, jetcraft here.
Hey, what is going on, road trippers? Road Trip Nate here. Once again, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, as those captions at the top stated, I'm going to do the hotels that I can remember staying at in Branson, Missouri. Currently staying at the hotel that I work at, the Quality Inn. Very nice hotel. But it gives me a reason to do a hotel episode of this on this channel. So we're gonna do the the 10 hotels I remember that I've stayed at. I've stayed at a lot more than 10 hotels in Branson, but these are the 10 I can remember. And why? Because I just got back from Branson. I work at a hotel. I'm staying at the hotel. So why not? Let's do a 10 hotel episode. Coming in at number 10, the Fall Creek Inn. The Fall Creek Inn, uh, like I said, when I was driving by there day before yesterday, it had terrible Wi-Fi. It was an okay hotel. We were watching the Arkansas Texas game basketball. Me, my grandma, Donis, and my mom. We stayed in that hotel, and me and my mom shared a room. And then my grandma and Donis had their own hotel room. Had terrible Wi-Fi. We ordered a pizza from I think Domino's or something, and we got it delivered while we were watching the Razorback and Texas game. But that was one hotel that was just, it was like I think it was like an on the fly hotel. Just we got that room just, but it was an okay stay. It was right next door to one of my favorite places to eat, the Fall Creek Steakhouse. But like I said on the video that I took from day before yesterday, the food is great. Service is terrible at that steakhouse, but the hotel was just, I couldn't get any Wi-Fi signal. I couldn't get a signal on my phone. It was terrible. That was what puts it at probably the worst stay I've ever had at a Branson motel. Moving on. The Branson Vacation Inn. That was the first place I stayed at while doing YouTube videos. I came up Branson 6 years ago. The first hotel I ever stayed at, the first videos I ever did, I stayed at the Branson Vacation Inn, right off the strip. I had a gay dude check me in, and I smoked cigarettes outside my door, and my car had cigarette ashes all over it. The next day, I woke up. It was it was okay, and I threw my SD card away that I was using for my camera that I had just bought at the Walmart in Siloam. So that was a waste of money. And I bought a Mike Iaconelli rod and reel for $50 at the Bass Pro Shop there at the Branson Landing. But yeah, that was just an overnight. I went to the Skechers store and bought a couple shoes. That was that same trip. Went to Shorty Smalls, which is now called something different, I believe. They're in Branson. But yeah, that was that same trip. Yeah. It was a fun trip. The hotel was just it was it was nothing cheap hotel. Moving on. Number 8, the Angel Inn. The Angel Inn was a. It was. Which one are we talking about here? It was down there by the strip. Uh, Meemaw got us reservations there at the Angel Inn. After me and Mom had after I got us rooms previously for Serenity Inn, and we all four stayed at Serenity Inn, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. She got us a room at the Angel Inn back in 2020, 2019, 2018, somewhere around there. 2017, it was somewhere around there. She's like, I get us good rooms. You get us crappy rooms. But we stayed at the Angel Inn, and I was watching American Horror Story at the time, which I have missed the last several seasons of American Horror Story. They've gotten all crazy since the last time I watched it. But I was watching American Horror Story Hotel, I think. But the Angel Inn was a good stay. It was fun. It was we stayed there like a night or two. I got my own room while Mima and Donis had their own room. But the Angel Inn was cool. It was somewhere around the landing. It wasn't. I think there's two of them that are right around the landing. I don't remember which one we stayed at, but it was a fun one. Number, what are we on? 7? The Victorian Inn. I've stayed at the Victorian Inn twice, I believe. It's right across the street from Whitewater. I stayed once with a buddy of mine back in 2007, 2008, right around in there. We came at Branson and just hung out, but the other time was just a month and a half ago when I was in the process of trying to get a job at $0 City, and that job didn't work out. I stayed at the Southern Oaks Inn for 4 nights, or yeah, and then Kenny came over and hung out in Branson with me when I was at the Southern Oaks Inn, and then I stayed 2 nights at the Victorian Inn again. The Victorian Inn was an okay motel. It was eh. I got to see a dude asking me for a lighter that was walking around the parking lot with a blue tank top. He asked me for a lighter. It was an okay stay. Wasn't nothing special. It was right across the street from Whitewater, and it wasn't nothing special. The only real highlight of staying at the Victorian was the dude right next to me opened the door and was like, "Hey, you got a letter?" Yeah, I do. I'm sitting here smoking a cigarette, so yeah, I do have a letter. Moving on. Next up is the Dockers Inn, which I just stayed at 2 nights ago. That was an okay hotel. It wasn't nothing special, like always. The Dockers Inn was just a stop in and go to sleep for 40 weeks. It was that kind of hotel. It was just, I mean, there wasn't nothing special about it. But I stopped in and had slept 40 weeks. I was sitting outside the pool and smoking a cigarette and kept looking at the pool, and I'm like, I want to jump in. So I jumped in. I took my shirt off, took my belt and my wallet out of my pockets. I'm like, and took my shoes and socks off. I'm like, I'm gonna jump in this pool. So that's what I did. And then I realized I'm not in very good shape. Because even being like 2 foot away from the siding of the pool, I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, I'm not in very good shape. But yeah, that's just about how it goes. That's my memory from the Doctor's Inn. After going to 3 different hotels, trying to get a room, going up to Branson, not having a clue. Usually, me, myself, I am the world's best at having everything planned. That time I didn't have anything planned. So I, I screwed up. So I had to get a hotel on the fly. So the Dockers Inn, I've I've always seen Branson hotels online, and Dockers Inn is always one of the cheapest ones I've always seen. So I was like, okay, the Dockers Inn, okay, but it was a good stay. It wasn't a sketchy looking motel. It it didn't look it didn't look bad. So it was an okay stay. I am gonna be right back because nature calls. All right. Whew. We are getting into the top 5 now. Number 5, the Southern Oaks Inn. The Southern Oaks Inn, like I said, I stayed there 8 out of the 10 nights. I stayed up in Branson a month and a half ago. In between my job at Dairy Queen and the job I have now at right here at the Quality Inn. I went up to Branson and was gonna get a job at. I did have a job at $7 City. It did not work out very well, so I had to go back to Siloam with my tails between my legs. But the Southern Oaks Inn, it was a great hotel. I've talked about it on video, like I was just rewatching. It was a good hotel. Good stay. It was a sketchy ass hotel, but really that's what all you can expect from a hotel like that. It was featured on Hotel Impossible, and me and Kenny, we went walking around the hotel. We went looking for the pool. The pool for the hotel there at the Southern Oaks Inn, all the way at the back of the hotel, and the hotel is like a freaking mile long. I did not like how that hotel was just. It was like a mile long, but it was a good stay. I I've shown a couple videos of my stay from that trip, talking about that trip in Branson. It was a very unique trip. All right, number 4, the Serenity Inn. The Serenity Inn I've stayed at many times. That's that was my go-to hotel. Plenty of times I've stayed in Branson. It's right there, right off the strip. It's a cheap hotel. Every time I've stayed there, it's $40 after taxes. Me and mom shared a room. We heard a couple fighting the whole night. The one of the times I've stayed there. Every other time, it's been a nice hotel. There was trash under the bed one time I stayed there, but other than that, it's a nice hotel. I mean, it's the cheapest hotel you can get in Branson, and it's a decent hotel. So I mean, you can't really expect much less or much more. Number 3, the White Wing Lodge, right there next to $7 City, within walking distance. The closest hotel to $7 City is the White Wing Lodge. Whenever I want to just go to $7 City, I want to stay at the White Wing Lodge. One of my one of my best, one of my most favorite places to stay is the 2-bedroom suite there at the White Wing Lodge. It was one of my favorite experiences. It was only like $100 during February of 2022, 2023. Right after that big ice storm we had. And it was right after Missouri legalized marijuana. So I got marijuana and was able to smoke it at the White Wing Lodge. So that was a fun trip. And then I got to walk to Silver City. And there's a gas station or a convenience store right up the hill from the White Wing Lodge. So I was able to keep myself good on beer. Got got marijuana. Got to go to Silver City and had a good trip watching the Pro Bowl at the White Wing Lodge. So it was a good trip. That was one of my favorite trips ever. Was and I have it on video. It was fun. Number two, the Best Western, right there at the landing. Whenever I go to Branson, there are two places I want to stay at. It's either the Best Western at the landing or White Wing Lodge. Whenever I want to go out of town and just go bar hopping and go just to drink for a night out, I want to go to the Best Western because that's right there by the landing. I can go walk down to the landing, go drink, do my normal 13 free samples at the Smiths Creek Moonshine, and then have two beers at just random bars, and then go back to the hotel. And I can go have Steak and Shake, which is right up the hill. That's why I like the Best Western, and they have nice rooms. I love the Best Western there at the landing. It's just I never have a bad time there. It is one of the nicest hotels I stay at, and it's convenient for what I want to do at that time. For that time, but it is my second favorite hotel I stay at in Branson. Number one, Branson's Nantucket. Branson's Nantucket is a timeshare. It's not technically a hotel, but my grandma has a timeshare there. She has had that for several years now. Every time I go there, every time I've ever gone there, it's always been a good time. Branson's Nantucket, it's like Nantucket little cottages you see in like New England, and it's right overlooking Table Rock Lake, and you're right there next to everything in Branson. It I've gotten myself locked out of the second floor on the balcony before. Me and Tyler, my brother, went to the top of the 11-story hotel, or how many ever stories it has. We went to the bar there, and we went to the balcony they have at one point in time. Yeah, every time going to Branson's Nantucket, it's fun. It's my grandma's thinking about not renewing her uh, timeshare because none of us ever go there anymore. But it, it was fun when we went. Every time we've gone there, it's just a place to have to. Whenever we come to Branson, it's a place to have. It's like it's a little timeshare that it's like well, a little home. But that's the 10 places I remember that I've stayed at in Branson. I know there's probably a lot more places I've stayed at, but that's the ranking of the 10 places I can remember. So far up to this point in Branson. If you're new here, please feel free to hit that subscribe button after the video to stay notified on all my current and future whereabouts. And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Let me know you care. This is Road Trip Nate saying, until next time, Road Trippers. Video done.